Shalom, Apostle Harkman back at you with this truth, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wakakwadash, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wakakwadash, and Shalom to the hopefully left out there. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Back on that subject. This is a response to Truth Tuesdays. Is the mark of the beast literal or spiritual? Now, you know what our view is. Sons of Thunder Israelites. And this I would say is a response to a video that I did, and then others of the teachers, I'll just say use the word teachers, did pretty much in response to the video I did on another video that was put up about 3 years ago concerning that subject. Let me see if I got it up here. I mean, I could find it, but let me see if I got it. I mean, I can always find it, but I thought I had it up already. But it was dealing with the subject of the MOTB. I don't remember these individuals. They could have been out there. I remember him. He was out there that day 3 years ago, and he even referenced to this. And I saw this last night when it was live, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I was kind of jumping around. I was doing videos. I was doing other things on the web, but I did mention this video that you can go to it live. And he had mentioned, I forget what part of this video, it was a hour and 40-minute plus video that somebody in the audience came up about the the whole Karagna thing. I don't know if the guy was part of GMS or he was an individual that listened to GMS, and he's confronting these guys about that. Now, if you watch this video and the video they did 3 years ago, they basically, their breakdown is different from our breakdown, all right? So I'm going to, starting point is at 37 minutes and 8 seconds in. And then I'm going to speak on that. So this is just a response to this video right here. He even mentioned my name. He referred to me as Zaquan Tahar, which means Elder Tahar, respectful. So, and truth be told, I'm really not even mad at these guys. They just don't see it. They just don't see it. And we got it right. We got it right. That's why it's so easy to debunk anything that these other individuals, IUIC, IUCPK, it's going to be found out that we have the truth. Not bragging or boasting, we just have the truth. And it is a physical thing, and they already putting it in people. Check out the news in Sweden. Put in, MC hip in hands in Sweden, you'll get a whole bunch of videos on that. So I'm just going to start it here, 37 minutes. I don't know how long this is going to be. 37 minutes and 8 seconds. So listen up, listen up, listen up.
John's book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead.
It says he causes how many?
All.
He causes all, right? So we about to see who his all is. Let's get Revelation 18 and 3.
Well, all you had to do is go down to the 17th verse. And it tells you who the all is. It says any man that, matter of fact, let me go to it so I don't botch it up. Revelation, what is that, 13, verse 16. So the individual brother just read Revelation 13, 16, and he calls this all out of the King James Version, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their forehead. So then he immediately says, let's see what that all is talking about. He goes to Revelation chapter 18, which is going to debunk his theory of great nations and small nations, rich nations and poor nations, bond nations and free nations. That is not talking about that. So it says in the second verse, the answer is right here, and that no man might buy or sell. And then it says it goes deeper than buying something from the corner store. Well, wait a minute. I can buy a Snicker bar, and I can buy a brand new car for $50,000, right? It's still buying. It's under the definition of buying. Somebody says, "Where'd you get that new car from?" You say, "I bought it from this car dealership." You drinking, you eating a Snicker bar. Somebody said, "Where you get that Snicker bar from?" I want to go get one. Where did you buy it from? How much did it cost? It cost me $1. Whether something's $1.50, whether it's $50,000, whether it's $10, you go to the store to buy a pair of shoes. Good pair of shoes might cost you $150, $200 maybe for a good pair of shoes. So whether you're spending or you can buy a stamp. A stamp is what is it, like 50 cent, 50 some odd cent. You can get and that's all buying and selling. Whether you buy a Snicker bar, a pair of kicks, a brand new car for $50,000. You buy a suit, you buy a tie, you go grocery shopping, you buy a house, depending on where you live. If you're in the New York area, in a nice area, you're gonna pay $500,000 to $1 million and over $1 million, right? That all goes under the definition of buying. So this individual brother, I don't know his name, he said, well, it goes deeper than that. Well, no, you got to deal with the word buy. It goes deeper than just buying a Snicker bar. No, buying is buying. If you steal a Snicker bar, you can get arrested. It's a misdemeanor. It's a petty theft, but you can still get arrested. You can still get cuffed up. If you go into a car dealership and you attempt to steal a car, and they catch you, guess what? They're gonna use them same silver bracelets to lock you up, but this time it's going to be grand theft auto, because you had the option to buy a Snicker bar or steal it. You had the option to buy a $50,000 car or steal it. Let's say, or you have the Louisiana Purchase. What was that all about? It was the United States government that purchased Louisiana from the French. If you can look it up and find out the price. But you got people that own, you got super rich people that actually own islands. So they had to find out who was on the island, who owns the island, and they purchased the island. So you can buy a Snicker bar, you can buy a $50,000 car, you can buy a pair of kicks, you can buy the newspaper, you can buy a house, you can buy an island. So you can't say dismiss the buying part. Let's see, that means something. No. It means what it means. Buying anything. And that no man might buy or sell. And it says man. So it's going to tell you that it's talking about man, meaning man, woman, child. Let me try this. Let me see what the NLT says. Now, it might not mention man. Okay, it says here, and no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. There's a number representing his name, which the number representing his name is 666, which is Apostle Ramla did a video a couple of days on it, and he went into the whole UPC, the Universal Product Code, which came out sometime in the late 70s, mid to late 70s. Anything that you buy, if you buy a brand new car for $50,000 and you're doing the paperwork, part of that paperwork, there's gonna be a universal product code on it. You know, you sign paperwork and a bunch of. If you ever purchase a car from a dealership, you make you sign a lot of papers, a lot of shit that they give you. Okay, but I have a bunch of supplements here, and every last one of them have the UPC code on it, and then it's based upon 666. There's 3 long lines at either end and 3 long lines in the middle, but it doesn't give you what the number is. Well, wait a minute, hold up. Well, the one does give you a 6, so that's more proof. So now let's come back over here. Come back to the King James. So that's the answer. Who is the all? Let me come back. Who is the all? And he called this all. Who's the all? And that no man, meaning man, woman, and child, might buy or sell, make a purchase, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. The number of his name is based upon the universal product code, which is 666. And that's why they don't, if you take any item with the universal product code on it, and you look at the various lines, the thick lines and small lines and so forth, you see a series of different numbers. But then the elongated lines on either side and in the middle, you don't see numbers. But it's the same 2 elongated lines, which the computer reads as 6. So it opens with a 6, in the middle is a 6, and it closes with a 6. That's the number. And that's part of buying and selling. This is not hard, man. So now let's come on back. So all he had to do, okay, Isaiah, Yahweh will shine. So he said, he asked a question, well, what does this mean? Well, you should have read this in the next verse. It's talking about men, women, and children, but it says men. We know it, when it says men, it's talking about mankind, meaning men, women, and children. Go back to the 16th verse. Rich men and poor men, free men and bond men. What's a bond man? Someone that's in the prison system, right? Rich men and poor men, big men and little men, great men and small men. You got celebrities, you got politicians, which are considered great men because of their wealth and their status in society. So the answer, all you had to do was go to the 17th verse. So let's listen on.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse 3. And it reads, for all who? All have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Mm-hmm. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. So notice it's talking about all nations and the kings fornication with her, which is her is the Babylon, America. All right. So let's go back to Revelation. Matter of fact, let's go back to Revelation 13 and 16 again and read that again.
Revelation 13 and 16. He causes all.
And let's see if he goes to the 17th verse. And this is something that the great and powerful Bishop Nathaniel IUIC taught some years ago. He went to Revelation 13 and 16, and then he jumped to another part of Revelation 13. I forget exactly where he went to. He didn't go to Revelation 18, but he failed to go to the 17th verse. So let's see if he goes to the 17th verse. I mean, I would read the 17th verse. It says, all nations, it mentioned them committing fornication. Well, fornication has nothing to do with the mark. The mark is one thing. Fornication is the other. But let's assume that it means the same thing. All right, listen up.
Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead.
So people get.
It says right hand. It says right hand, right? Where's the right hand of Pakistan? Where their right hand at? Let's click on this. So let's look at the word. See, it says Dexios. Dexios. That's where you get the word dexterity from, when you work with your hands. And it means the right hand, meaning literal right hand, and metaphorically a place of honor or authority. But literally it means the right hand, as opposed to the left. Properly of that hand which is accustomed to take hold of, as well as to point out. Yeah, you point with the finger. So let's come on back. So it says dexios, where you get dexterity from. It says you can take hold of something, you can grab something. That's why you got 5 fingers, and you can also point. So you can put your hand up, like to stop. You can put your hand up in the fist. You can put your middle finger up, and you can also pick things up. 17 verse says man, 16 verse says hand, and it's talking about the literal hand.
Everybody want to trade with America. Let's go back to Revelation 13 and 16 again and read that again.
Revelation 13 and 16. He causes all, both small and great.
Now he said everybody want to trade with America, right? So he's saying that these people that trade with America, that they all got the mark. It's not talking about people, despite what the verse 17 says. It's talking about nation. Let's go with that, okay? And put your thinking caps on, put your common sense glasses on, and I'm gonna show you that it's not talking about that, because something's going to ultimately happen to those nations, according to him, that take the mark, which is fornication.
rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead.
So people get confused.
And it says forehead. Let's look up the word forehead. What should come to mind is Neuralink. Elon Musk Neuralink, or Zuckerberg's Met, uh, Metaverse, Metopon, the space between the eyes, the forehead, forehead. It's all revelation. So it says the forehead, metopon, is the space between the two eyes or the forehead. Literal hand, dexios, where you get the word dexterity from. 17 verse, all you had to do is read the 17th verse, and it said, and that no man may buy or sell. And then the word buy, I believe I did a video on that, and I looked up the word buy, and one of the root words goes into agora, which is the marketplace. You know, you live in a community of people, and you want to go shopping, you got to go to the marketplace. Go to the supermarket. You want to buy some shoes, a couple of stores down there, some shoes. Then there's a couple of big box stores. Now you got the big box stores that you have the retail stuff, you know, the stuff that you use, your household and everything. And then you even got a supermarket now. Like you go to BJ's. BJ's is half a supermarket, half a regular retail store. You can do most of your shopping in there. I remember when I went to Mexico, and I was 87, from Mexico City. There was a mall that was so damn big. Do you know they were selling cars in the mall? They had a section. I mean that particular mall down there was like maybe 5 times the size of like a BJ's. And they had a section where they actually had cars sitting out there selling cars. So let's come on.
People get confused and think this is individuals. We just read who the all are. The all are not.
Nope. You went to Revelation 18, which has nothing to do with Revelation 13 and 16. All you had to do, say it again, because people got a short attention span. All you had to do was go to the 17th verse, and it would have said man. Well, it says in the 16th verse, it says hand, dexios, dextros. It says the definition says you can take hold of something, or you can point the finger. Forehead, it says the thing between the eyes, the forehead. So where's a nation's forehead? Where's Pakistan's forehead at? You know, where's Pakistan's right hand?
Individuals. I'm gonna give you an example right here. It says, and he calls all both small and great. So ask yourself, what is that small and great? If this is talking about,
if you go to the 17th verse, it tells you men. Well, it says man or men. But we know when it says man, it's talking about mankind, man, woman, and children. like it says in the Old Testament, when it says children of Israel, in the Hebrew it says Ban Yam Yasha'ala, which means sons of Israel. Now, does it just mean sons? No, it means sons, which are men, women, and their children.
Regular individual people. What does small and great pertain to? It don't pertain to fat and skinny. It don't pertain to tall and short. It don't pertain to money, because the next, after the comma, it says rich and poor. So what is the small and great? Nation. Small and great nation.
This guy is breaking it down the same way that Bishop Nathaniel is breaking it down. I don't know if he got a script. I don't know what the deal is, but he's breaking it down the same way that Bishop Nate broke it down and General Yohana broke it down. And then General Yohana said it's an embargo, and then Bishop Nate started saying it's an embargo. I won't be surprised if he said this is an embargo. Well, let's listen.
Nation. Rich and poor nation. Free and bond nations. The bond nations are the ones that are under servitude to.
In law, this is called conjecture, where you're like that. The other attorney would say, objection, Your Honor, conjecture. Objection, Your Honor, conjecture. 17th verse shows you that it's not talking about nations. The word there in the 17th verse is man.
To another nation, right? It says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. These are not individuals that it's talking about. These
individuals have right hands, left hands, butt cheeks, foreheads, eyes, eyeballs, testicles, penises, vaginas, toes, knees, kneecaps, elbows, latissimus dorsi, trapezius muscles, biceps, quadriceps, gluteus maximus. That's what men have.
Our nation. Let's go back to Revelation 18:3, and let's read that again out of one. This is the book of Revelation, chapter.
That's why the scriptures say the simple believers every word, that they may deceive the hearts of the simple. Because a simple person they got their mouth wide open, their jaw is dropped, their tongue is sticking out, and they're amazed at what this man is saying, or what Bishop Nate is saying. By the sleight of men, He's like a magician uses a sleight of hand. Well, he's using a sleight of words. And that word sleight is in the scriptures.
In 18, verse 3, and it reads, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. It said all nations have drunk of the wine. Keep going out of one. And
so you're going to equate that to the MOTB, the mark. So, okay, let's go with the fact that let's go with his breakdown. Let's go with his understanding. They all got the mark according to what he's reading. He jumped from Revelation 13 and 16. He failed to go to Revelation 17 and 18 for that matter. And then he kind of went back and forth from the 18th chapter to the 13th chapter. The 18th chapter is a very simple chapter to understand if you know this truth, but it's a very thorough chapter. I love that chapter because that chapter, I said this before, it's like the credits of a movie, a good movie. You see the credits and you kind of want to see the actors, and they might have had outfits. It might have been a period piece. You want to see who did the music. Well, who did the music for this movie? Because you might want to buy the CD to that movie. All right. So that's what Revelation 18 is to me. It's kind of like the closing credits. And that's why I love that chapter among other chapters. Let's listen to a little bit more.
The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
So let's go with what they're saying. the kings of the earth have committed fornication with him, which they're saying is talking about the MOTB. So now let's blank out of your mind that men, women, and children got it. It's not a microchip. That is nations that got it. Pakistan, Iran, Japan, China, the Philippines, South America, North America, Canada, all the NATO nations, they all got it. These are all nations, right? And what's the difference between a great nation and a small nation? You got small nations out there, as opposed to powers. Like China is considered a great nation because it's big, over 1 billion people. India surpassed China, is over 1 billion people. Officially, there's more people in India than there is in China. There's 1 billion plus people. The U.S. is considered big, even though the population is only about 350 million. That's a third of either China or India. But it's a big nation because of the great things that came out of it, right? A lot of great things came out of America because, number one, Jake was here anyway. Now, what's a small nation? Jamaica's a small nation. What else? Puerto Rico is a small nation. Guam is a small nation. That's why it's a commonwealth of the U.S. So let's listen to some more.
And the merchants of the earth are wax rich through the abundance of her delicacy.
So it's talking about the kings of the earth and the nation. Okay? So we cleared that up in Revelation 13:16. It's not talking about individuals, it's talking about nations. Keep that in mind.
Keep in mind that if you go to 17 verse, it tells you what it's talking about. And that no man may buy or sell except he that have the mark. I'm not talking about nations. You don't call a nation a man. Let me come back and let me listen to this again.
The earth are wax rich through the abundance of her delicacy.
So it's talking about the kings of the earth and
they wax rich because of the abundance of her delicacies, meaning, according to them, that they got the mark. So that being that they took the mark, they're rich now. So let's keep that same energy. Let's come on.
the nation. Okay? So we cleared that up in Revelation 13:16. It's not talking about individuals, it's talking about nations. Keep that in mind. All right, let's go to
if they were in front of an audience of people that who are thinkers, or thinkers, not simple people, somebody would raise his hand and say, well, what does the 17th verse mean? And this is why we call the IUIC a bunch of zombies, because when Bishop Nate was breaking it down, nobody raised their hand and said, well, what does the 17th verse mean?
matter of fact, we got to get Revelation 13:16.
Revelation 13:16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. And that no man, and that no man might buy or sell.
Another thing I noticed is almost 41 minutes in, and these comments, there's no scriptures. Go to any of my videos. Go to any of the apostles videos, bishop videos, elders videos, different state camps, the GMS. There's always a precept. So when I see something like that, I see that these people are not real deep thinkers.
Save he that has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Okay, so it says, and that no man might buy or sell. So people get caught up on the buying and selling. and say, if you don't get the mark, you ain't gonna be able to go to the grocery store. Trust me, it's bigger. It's way bigger than that. This
Okay, you said, trust me, it's way bigger than that. But going to the grocery store, is that still buying? And when does it become buying under Revelation 13? What price is that? Anytime you spend $1 million, that's considered buying, pursuant to Revelation 13:16. Like I said earlier, you can buy a stick of bubble gum. You can buy a Snickers bar for $1, $1.50 or whatever. Some Oreo cookies, or you can buy a brand new car for $50,000. So you can't dismiss it by saying, "Oh, it's way, way deeper than that." It's not talking about. You can buy a Snicker bar. If I went and stole a Snicker bar, and they caught me, I'm going to jail.
when if the scripture is talking about it, trust and believe is bigger than going to the gas station, being able to go to the grocery store. It's much bigger than that.
How much bigger? That's my question. How much bigger? How much do you have to spend before it means that you're buying and selling with the MOTB? Is it car dealership bigger? Is it house bigger? Family home bigger? Is it 100-unit building bigger? If I buy 100 unit family building, is that it? That's when I start actually buying and selling? Or do I got to buy a whole country? Or do I got to buy oil? Tons and tons of oil. The word buy simply means to buy, whether it's a Snicker bar or an island or a country. So you can't just make this thing up. Okay, let's move. We got that out of the way. Can't do that. You got to explain it to the people.
Right? We just established this is not talking about individuals. This is talking about.
If you would have read, if somebody would have said, "What about the 17th verse?" You would have had to deal with that.
People, nations. My bad. Kings and nations. This is what it's talking about. So it says, and that no man might buy or sell. Okay, so let's go to Revelation 18 and 3 again. We're gonna read 3, 9, and 11. Let's see what this selling is. Selling, another word for selling is what? Like trade, right? It's like trade. Let's see. Like we used to do bartering back in the day, right?
Thank you. Men and women did bartering back in the day. You would trade a chicken, 5 chickens for 20 chickens for 1 cow. You fix my stagecoach or my chariot, and I'll give you a denarius. Okay. Barter system. When you dealt with gold and silver, that's barter. If I had a gold coin, okay, a gold coin, 1 troy ounce gold is about $2,000, right? If I go to a car dealership and buy a used car, and this guy knows about gold and silver, I can say, well, here I'm going to pay it with gold. I'm gonna give you 1 troy ounce. I'm gonna give you a gold eagle. Now, if they know about it, they would, oh yeah, we can do that. Now, I did that one time with this Simeonite dude that owns a shop, and I was discussing silver and gold with him because he's investing. So then he did a job, and I said, how much is that? I forget exactly. It was about $120. And then I brought up some silver, and I said, look, I can give you the greenbacks, or I can give you the silver. You already understand the silver. I said, it's up to you. If you ain't sure, just take the paper money. He'll say, nah, give me the silver. Because I explained how silver works. And I said, what I gave you in silver is equivalent to about $120. When I broke it down to him, matter of fact, I ran into him the other day. We were talking. And he just, when I explained it to him, he said, "Give me." I don't know what he did with the silver, and I told him, "Look, keep buying silver." I don't think he has, because I run into him. You buy silver, I haven't, because he really doesn't understand it. But he cherished that. He cherishes that silver that I gave him. My guy, he got it somewhere. Now, if I gave him $120, he would have just put it in his wallet and spent it, not see it no more again. But I guarantee, matter of fact, when I see him, I'm gonna ask him, "What did you do with that silver?" I should have asked him that yesterday. So that's barter. The man fixed, I think he changed the brakes on my car, came out to 120. I think I purchased the brakes or whatever the case may be. I forget the whole scenario. This was a couple of years back. But he says 120. I said, "Look," I said, "here's 120 in cash, or here's the equivalent in silver." Then I even went on the web and showed him, broke it down to him. And I said, "The choice is yours." Then he said, "I'll take the silver." So I said, "Look, if you change your mind, call me back. You kind of get a little iffy. You don't trust me." I said, "You got my number. Call me back, and I'll take the silver back, and I'll give you the money." He said, "No." So that was a barter system. Even when you use paper dollars, it is a barter system. And it's broken down into units. So let's see, like, people don't understand how money works. Real money is gold and silver, right? People get all upset that the gas is, like, in my area, is like $3, depending on where you go. It could be anywhere from like $3.24 to $3.50. Every once in a while, you see some place with that $4. Ain't nobody going to that station. They going to the one that's $3.15, $3.25, $3.30. Or they might see a couple of stations. There's one place I go to where there's 3 stations back to back, and the difference of the price may be like 5 cents. So I'll go to the cheapest one just to save 5 cents a gallon, because it's a mental thing. It really doesn't make no difference. No 5 cents. You put 10 gallons, you pay 50 cents extra, you save 50 cents. No big deal. But it's a mental thing with people. All right. But guess what? If you was to adjust for inflation, when gas was, let's say, 25 cents, actually it was what, 35 cents for the regular. You had the unleaded, you had the regular, it was 35 cents. When you adjust for inflation, gas should be about $10 a gallon. So the fact that you're paying $3.30, that's a bargain basement price. But you not too many Americans, I would say 99% of the people in America, they don't understand money at all. And a lot of these professors really don't fully understand how money works, how the history of money works. Okay, let's come back over here.
So let's read that again in Revelation 18:3.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 18, and verse 3, and it reads, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her."
Mm-hmm.
And
which they mean is talking about they took the MOTB, right? Am I right?
the merchants of the earth are waxed rich.
Stop right there. Huh?
The U.S. gets, well, the NATO nations, they get their oil from Russia, right? You got many European nations that get their wheat from the bread basket of Europe, which is Ukraine. That's why they're protecting Ukraine. They're protecting Ukraine because of the wheat, number one, and because of the, what do you call it, neon gas. I believe more than 50% of neon gas come from the Ukraine. There's a lot of resources in Ukraine. That's why the U.S. is gave them over $100 billion, because there's trillions of dollars of resources in the Ukraine. That's why Russia wants it back. That was formerly a part of Russia. That's what they're fighting for. Not because they're great people, just people. No, they're why you think right now, guess who's in Africa? China been in Africa for the last, I don't know, 10 years or more. The US is just now getting into Africa. You got Russia down there, you got Germany down there. Why? Because of the mineral resources. Why do you think the president, he took a trip to Africa to meet and greet, I think the president of Ghana and another president, and he gave them $55 billion. That's a lot of money. That's $55,000 million, so you can understand. On a world scale, that's really not that much of a big deal, but it's a big deal. You can do a lot of things with 55 billion. Why are they going to do it? Because the resources. Because what do they stand to gain from the 55 billion? They stand to gain trillions. That's why they're in Africa. There's a lot of mineral resources in Iran. That's why it said Gog and Magog should be the chief prince, Gog and Magog, should be a god unto them, unto Iran, unto Persia. Persia is now known as Iran. The Carmanians in the book of the Apocrypha. If you go to, what is it, Second Ezra's, either 15 or 6, I believe it's 15, it speaks about the Carmanians. When you look up the word Carmanian, it will lead you back to the Iranian dictionary. And it tells you that the Carmanians are the Persians, which are the people of Iran today. So we do our studyings.
Why is it talking about the merchants of the earth? What the merchants got to do with anything? What do merchants do? They trade.
So according to you, all these merchants have the MOTB. Not people, all these nations. China, Ukraine, the EU nations, the NATO nations, Japan. Every time you drive on a highway and you count 10 cars, 9 of them bad boys are going to be Japanese cars because they're the best cars out there at a low price. Jake, they'll get the Mercedes and the Maybachs and whatever they can get as a status thing. Jake be wearing Louis Vuitton and Gucci and whatever they rocking. That's all high quality stuff for the white man. And what is it for? Because they're poor, they came into some money, so they're going to show the world that I'm rich by the standard of a European man, a white man. Because that's what they get. They get the top quality shit of what the Europeans got or America has. Let's listen on.
They buy and they sell. So merchants from other nations will buy and sell with this nation.
So based upon that, they all got the MOTB, the mark. Let's listen on.
That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about going to the grocery store. Merchants of other nations will buy and sell with the whore, with Babylon. All right?
Which means they all got the mark, right?
So it says, and are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Why? Because they all took the mark.
Because they're buying and selling. So let's go to verse 9, Adawan.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 9. And the kings of the earth who committed Salakia, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her,
Which they all these nations took the mark.
shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
So it says the kings of the earth, the leaders of the nations, have lived deliciously. How did they live deliciously? Because when they got the mark, the whore was like, Babylon was like, okay, cool, you can buy and sell with us. You can trade with us. It said they lived deliciously. If you think about America, everybody want to trade with America. Everybody want a piece of America. You see what I'm saying? If you look at like that website Alibaba, that's from overseas, but they advertise to America. Everybody want a piece of America. This buying and selling.
They advertise all around the world. They advertise to all the European nations and the other nations. Not America, but America is a place because Americans are nothing but consumers.
It's talking about these merchants. Let's go down to verse 11 out of room.
Don, it's a lot. Before we go to verse 11, hey, got a brother Aisha Allah, okay, in the chat. Hey, listen, brother. Hey, we understand the breakdowns, okay, of our elders, okay. We understand the breakdowns of different camps, okay. Brother, you're not teaching us nothing, okay. We understand, okay, what brothers believe, okay. But the thing is a lot of brothers don't take heed to the scriptures, okay. Brothers don't take heed to the scriptures. Hey, get me Sirach 11 and 8 real quick. Okay. Give me Sirach. Hey, read verse 7 first. Just read verse 7 first. And then, Brother Aisha Allah, after we read this, I want you to tell me, okay, if you're doing this right now.
Examine verse and then rebuke or judge. Y'all familiar with that. So they're equating it to us because we haven't examined first and we just started rebuking. We've been teaching this before y'all guys even ran into a camp. So myself, I've been knowing about this since the mid to late 70s. So we're talking what, 50 years? So you think I didn't examine nothing? I'm just going to jump. That's somebody that doesn't examine things. We've been dealing with this for years. When did the SOT, the Sons of Thunder, come on the scene? They came on the scene by following after Priest Zabak. That was after we went on YouTube. So we've been knowing about this before you brothers even got into the scriptures. So did we examine everything? You got that right. We examined everything. So let me jump from that. Let me go right back into it. Because they're wrong. They're dead wrong. They don't have the truth at all. And these dudes, whether they sincere or not, and I believe they're sincere. They come off as sincere, but they're sincerely wrong. When the scriptures say if the blind leadeth the blind, that blind man that leads the other blind man could be sincere in the way he's going. You blind, you can't see right in front of you, and you really think you're going in the right direction sincerely. And guess what? When you hit that cliff and you fall, the other blind people are going to follow you and they're going to fall too, even though you were sincere. So let's say that they're sincere. Let's go with the fact that they're sincere, but guess what? They're sincerely wrong. They're wrong as the day is long. Just like I said about IUIC that teaches it, whoever teaches it, they're dead wrong. So what they said was, it's not talking about people. When the 17th verse says it is talking about people, I don't know how you can get man and make it seem like something else. I don't know how you can take the word hand. If you go to the Greek word, what is it? Dextrose, or metapon, which is forehead, the thing between the eyes, the forehead. I don't know how you can put in where's the nation's forehead at? Huh? Where's the nation's right hand at? Where's the nation's butt cheek at? You can't dismiss it. Okay, we got that out of the way. Let's move on to no. You can't do that, man. But the ones of you that you can't get in and follow these individuals, that's a major stumbling block. So it's going to cause a lot of you to go ahead and get it. They're going to say, I ain't listening to no GMS because they teach the great doctrine. So you know the most, I ain't dealing with them. And then you're going to follow these guys or General Yohana or Bishop Nate. And I believe Bishop Nate, he's gonna jump ship. He's gonna say, I had a dream. And GMS. No, he ain't gonna say, he ain't gonna give him no credit. He said, I had a dream. And the MOTB is the chip. Don't take it. The Spirit came, the Most High came to me. So let's listen to a little bit more.
The merchants. Why is the scripture talking about merchants? What's the purpose of the scripture talking about the merchants? It said in verse 9 that the kings would live deliciously with Babylon because they're trading with Babylon. Commerce. Right. Go ahead and read that in 11.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse 11. And it reads, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her.
Why is the merchants weeping and mourning? The merchants, again, they weeping and mourning. Keep going.
For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
No man do what?
No man buyeth their merchandise anymore.
That's the buying and selling. You will not be able to work with the whore. You will not be able to buy and sell, trade with Babylon if you don't get the mark. Right? We're gonna explain what the mark is, but we're establishing things one by one. You will not be able to buy and sell, trade with Babylon if you don't get the mark. That's what it's saying, right? Keep going, other one.
The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right here. If somebody want to pick it up at 47-minute, 40-second in, y'all can do another video on this. But I started from, where did I start from? 37, I think it was. Anyway, so they spoke about, they read in Revelation 18 about the destruction of Babylon and how they stood afar off, weeping and mourning because they buy not their merchandise no more. They said that all those nations that weep and mourn got the mark, right? So what does it mean by the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is the U.S.? It means when the Lord comes back, right? What's going to happen after the destruction? The kingdom is going to be set up, right? So what happened to these nations? Because I'm gonna close it on this. I'm gonna close it on this right here. Revelation 14. I'll start the 8th verse. Revelation 14, verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, which we know, which they just spoke about, talking about the U.S., because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Meaning, according to them, they took the charagma, the MOTB. Doomed for worshipers of the beast. What did they do in essence to be able to buy and sell to them? They worship the beast, meaning they went by the rules and regulations of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark, which are these nations, in his forehead or in his hand, the same, these nations, China, the Ukraine, the EU nations, the NATO nations, the Philippines, Japan, because they all do trade. The same what? They took this mark, which are all nations, according to them, shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture. What's that talking about? They're going to be destroyed into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels. And in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of the when is this gonna happen to these nations that took the mark? It didn't say they were being destroyed. It said they were afar off, mourning because they're not gonna make no more money. So when did they get destroyed? When did they get destroyed? This right here cuts what y'all are teaching. Anyway, with that, like I said, anybody that want to pick it up from 4740 of this video, be my guest. Shalom.